Okay, you guys, happy Wednesday. So good to see you. Glad you came on. I know we have a lot of people gone tonight, so we're going to record this up here. And we're going to kind of continue on a little bit on the last several weeks. It's going to kind of tie it all together from these past couple weeks and just kind of start to transition us. But I wanted us to think about everything from these past like four calls and really think about when transformation just becomes the outcome versus something that we're always focusing on trying to make happen. And I've realized something over these past couple weeks as I was sitting with all of the calls and I was kind of reviewing them. We've talked about consistency, right? Avoidance, identity, and transformation. We had several, like 3 weeks on that transformation as longevity. And while I was sitting with all of these teachings, I realized that they all are pointing into the exact same truth. So tonight, I don't want to just teach you another strategy. I want to tell you what I know we're actually doing here. Okay. So I want you to write this down if you can. Obviously, Lamar's driving. Don't write it down, Lamar. But these are three things. Okay. Three things I want you to remember. And I shared this in the group so you can get it off of there. Fitness is the medium, awareness is the mechanism, and transformation is the outcome. And I'm going to talk really quick about what all three of these mean. And I'm going to let you take it and chew with it this week. Okay. So a short call. I think if you can understand these three sentences, you'll understand why we do everything the way we do inside Live Beyond Average. Okay. So fitness is the medium. I want to challenge you with something that you probably believed before you joined or have thought at some point in your life. Most people think fitness is the destination. Okay. Or I want to lose weight is the destination, or I want to get abs, or I want to get stronger. I want to run the miles. I want to look better, whatever your goal is. But I don't actually think that's the destination. I don't know if I ever have thought that, but I'm thinking about it in a little different way right now. I think fitness, and this is the difference of how I'm thinking about it. And I've always known that fitness was my avenue to teach people deeper things, right? Like I've talked about that. I knew this was my way to be able to continue to teach us how to go deeper. But I'm thinking about it this way. I think fitness is the classroom. And so what does that really mean? What does fitness is the medium really mean? So the medium is the vehicle, right? Or the classroom. When we went to school, right? The goal wasn't, hey, I got to get to school, I got to get to the classroom. No, it's simply the environment where the learning takes place for you to some point graduate or to learn all of the things that it is that you want to learn. The goal is who you become because of what you learn, right? I talked about this even last year when I bought that car. It wasn't about the car at all. It was really hard for people to understand. It was about I bought that car before I was making that money to buy the car. It was who I had to become within my business, some goals that I was struggling to reach in my business. It was who I had to become in order to own that car. Okay. And so the goal is who you become because of what you learn in the classroom. So fitness is the vehicle that God is using to reveal something much deeper inside of you. Okay. The same way a canvas is the medium to a painter, or chords and sound is the medium to a musician, or even words to an author, right? The workout isn't changing your life. Like in general, doing squats is not changing your life, but the workout is revealing something in your life. And then we can start asking questions. And then when you miss a workout, what gets exposed, right? When we miss logging our food, or food logging gets really hard, what gets exposed? When life gets stressful, what gets exposed to us? When the scale doesn't move the way we want it to move, how do we react? That's what gets exposed. So fitness isn't creating those things for us, but they're already in us. Fitness is simply giving us a place to come for those things to come to the surface. That's why I can learn so much more about you when you're having a hard week or a hard month. Okay. It's why when you're really honest with me in the check ins as well, that I can really start helping you more on a deeper level. I had a couple calls today, and like some of those check-ins stimulated that, and I was able to really help pinpoint, like, hey, let's the next 2 weeks, this is the thing you're working on. This is the thing, and so it helps me direct so much better. And it gives you the progress in the long run to really get to where you want to be. Okay. So that's the piece where fitness is the medium for you. And I want you to start thinking about that. What overall health and fitness is doing for you from exposing things that are not all bad, right? When I say like what gets exposed when we miss workouts, also on the flip side, what gets exposed from a positive sense for you. Like, man, I am consistent. Man, I pushed harder than I used to push. I used to quit right here at rep 8, and now I go. For Johnny started his fitness work with me years ago. He's been with me like 3 years, maybe 4. And what he couldn't run a mile. Like it was right. Like we hiked up Harney Peak, and he like I saw his spirit leave his body. I think he died. Right, Johnny? Like it was crazy. You know what I mean? But then it was like we went back a couple months later. He trained with me for a couple months, and we went back up like 2 months later, and we hiked it again, and he was like 40 yards ahead of me the whole way. It was one of those pieces where it exposed what some consistency did for him, and that it empowered him to keep going. And then he was running 15 miles with me months later. So that's what it does for us. That's fitness is the medium. So let's move on then to awareness is the mechanism. This is why I ask so many questions in these calls. I ask so many questions in the check-ins. I'm not doing it to annoy you or make your life hard or take time out of your day. Some of you probably wonder why I don't just tell you what to do sometimes. And this is because I know information doesn't transform people, but awareness does. So let's tie this into the last several weeks. Okay. At first, let's say it like this before I tie it into the last several weeks. If fitness is the mechanism, think about it like this. Think about like a Rolex watch. And think about all the intricate pins and gears inside of that watch. Inside of that, that's a mechanism. Or even inside of a lock, like a lock and key. The awareness is not the key for us. It's the mechanism, all the pins inside of the lock. Okay. And when we learn how those things move and work, like that's how when we have awareness, we can understand ourselves more and the inner workings within ourselves. That's how I want you to think about what awareness is we start to learn how our minds are working. Because when we learn how our mind is working, how our insides work, then we can make choices that go around that, right? That fit us, who we want to be and who we truly are. And so when we tie it into the last several weeks, when we talk about consistency, what are we really talking about? Identity, right? When we talk about avoidance, what are we really talking about? Truth. And we talked about what's beneath all the things, right? What's the thing beneath the thing? I'm trying to make that conversation, I'm not trying to make that conversation harder. I'm trying to make you aware. Because here's the reality in that. You cannot transform what you're unwilling to see. I've said that the last couple of weeks as well. The moment that you become aware, you finally have then choices. Okay. That's why awareness is so powerful. It interrupts your autopilot. Okay. So for example, and I'm not picking on anybody on this because I've had this conversation with a couple people. Okay. So it's just something that was on the top of my head when I was writing today. And this is just an easy example for us to all understand. So if you're missing a workout because this workout is too long. And so then you miss a couple weeks of workouts. Is it really the length of the workout why you're missing the workouts? Because if the workout I wrote for you is an hour or an hour and a half, but you missed the entire workout because you only had 30 minutes, right? You missing the workouts, us having this conversation, actually, that's a wonderful thing because now it exposes the way that we're thinking about things. Well, if I can't do the whole thing, it's not worth doing. No, right? We have to then, okay, I can see my thinking with this. When I'm not all in, I do nothing. That's a piece of awareness. And you'd be like, oh, that's a weird way of thinking. So I actually kind of self-sabotage myself when I'm not doing it perfectly. I choose to do nothing. Well, once we recognize this, now we can be like, okay, that's maybe not the healthiest way to think. I should try to take advantage of the 20 minutes I have today and do part of the workout and be very proud of myself that I utilized this time and I chose me in this time. And so when we start being aware and thinking about things a little deeper, now we can ask ourselves those questions like, why am I doing this? And we can go sit with that and we can and search out that deeper answer. Okay. That's why awareness is so key. That's why I'll continue to talk about it with you guys. And that leads then into the transformation. And then transformation just becomes the outcome, you guys. This is where I think, a lot of fitness programs stop too early. Even in my early days, I didn't know this stuff in my early days. And we celebrate just losing the weight. And now I celebrate you losing the weight, but I don't stop there. I celebrate the person you're becoming who actually keeps that weight off, right? I don't get excited just because you lose 30 pounds. I get excited because you stop negotiating with yourself on all the excuses of what kept you from losing the 30 pounds in the first place. That's what I'm celebrating. And I need to probably make that more clear all of the time. I get excited because of those things, because you start telling yourself this truth, right? Because you become present with your family or you face conversations that you've been avoiding. And that's because you're becoming somebody different. That's the transformation. The weight loss is simply the evidence of those deeper things happening. It's the byproduct. It's one of the byproducts. Okay. And so awareness has been such a huge part of me in my life and transforming in Amy's life, and it continues to grow. So coaching people to be aware, to live beyond average and go all in was a really ironic piece of growth for ourselves. Because as we were teaching this and going with this, we actually found the contradiction in our own life of where we weren't doing that in our own lives, which then it helped us transform more. And so for us, like our next piece that has been so challenging for us is Amy quitting her corporate job and going all in with our business here. But that we had dreams of this a long time ago, and she finally did it this week. She put in her 2 weeks, and it was extremely stressful for us. It was extremely scary because we have these fears, right? Like, well, what now? We're losing income. What if we can't pay our mortgage? Like all of this stuff behind this. But we have to sit with that. We actually had a goal for her to quit last February. And it was like, no, couldn't see it as a possibility. And we set another goal. We said, and you keep pushing it. And then it was like the end of the year. And then I was just finally, we were like, she was down in Nashville working in June. And I was like, I'm over this. And she had told me like weeks prior to that, she goes, I think it's going to be July. And I'm like, yeah, right. And she's gone in Nashville in June. And I'm like, I'm done with this. She's like, I told you it was going to be July. So it's really funny. Like she knew the whole time. But the awareness piece, without it, I don't think it's as powerful because we haven't, because of the fear, because of that fear of failing or losing everything, that when I had the awareness to realize that's why we weren't doing it, which that's just one layer. But don't stop at the layer. Okay? Because without the next layer, it's less powerful. We have to then go, why am I afraid? Why am I afraid of losing everything? Why am I afraid that we would even fail? Am I afraid that we wouldn't be provided for? We've always been provided for. And so then that goes into, well, why is my mindset focused on lack, scarcity, negativity, that this wouldn't happen for us? And so then that then reveals the way that I'm thinking. Because remember, we talked about way back, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So in my heart, I'm believing that this bad stuff would happen to me. Why am I thinking that? So then that gives me the opportunity to go make the choice to start thinking differently. Now, that doesn't mean I just change my mind. I can talk some affirmations on a walk and feel better about myself for 5 minutes, right? Like we can all do that. We can say those things and we build ourselves up, and that's okay. Do those things. Positive self-talk is a good thing. It is part of it. Okay. I can feel good for part of the day, and then I can have this negativity or those scary thoughts creep back in. It's been tough. but I'm so thankful for the awareness and the layers of awareness to expose the way that I'm thinking or acting on things so I can then make the choice to start to change that and then transform that to go back into a positive mindset around abundance, around faith and trust. Are you seeing the power of awareness and how it unlocks the levels within ourselves so we can actually start to transform and make new choices? I wanted to tell that story because I thought it would really make sense and I could break it down. So in closing, I want to leave you with this, and this is very surface level. But tomorrow morning when you wake up and you think like, I don't want to work out, I want you to think, oh man, I get another opportunity to discover something about myself. This whole journey is about discovering things about yourself. That's why fitness is the classroom. Because every workout and every meal or every tough conversation, every promise or mispromise, every uncomfortable moment is another opportunity for us to become more aware and peel back layers of awareness. Okay. So don't chase just the fitness, use the fitness, use it as the place where you learn to tell yourself the truth. Because if you keep doing that, transformation will just take care of itself. Okay. So I leave you with this one question for the rest of the week. What is fitness revealing about you right now? Take that one with you. What is fitness or this journey, my health journey? What is it revealing about me right now? Okay. I want you to think about that, ponder on that this week. I'll put that in the group chat as well because I want you to actually answer that. And I would love to hear about it. Okay. That is a call. Any questions, you guys, over any of that information? Not? I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for jumping on Wednesday night with us. We always appreciate it. Really excited about having Amy on full time here in a short week. I think her last day is next Wednesday, right? She gave them 2 weeks. They asked her to work 3 weeks, and they said they'd pay her for 3 weeks and told her she was gone next week. So that's even better.
Works for me.
It works. We'll take it. So yeah, she's gonna be in. She's gonna be in. She's gonna be in here. She's gonna be helping. We have some cool stuff that we're building, you guys. I've been working on some stuff slowly in some free time of some stuff I've been dreaming about and building another higher level program for you guys to kind of graduate into or to move into if you'd like to at some point. And so I've been working on that more this week and kind of see the reality of that coming sooner. Since Amy's going to be on, I've been working really hard at that, and I'm really excited to bring that as an option for people as well. It just hasn't been something I've been able to do with, running this whole thing by myself. And so she's going to bring some really cool, just help for me in more touch points for you guys, those nutrition reviews, and just another voice in here, and even help for women who, like, if you guys have girlfriend wives who, hey, I want a female coach, that now full time she'll be doing that, and as another option for us to bring in here. So really excited to have her on officially full time, not just like tapping her toes in here a little bit when she has time because she's busy as heck. So it's gonna be awesome, you guys. You guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next coaching call. I love you guys. We'll talk to you really soon.
Okay. Bye.